called crazy but turned out to be right all along. When I started working at Morrison, Blake & Associates, I told my supervisor I thought one of the senior partners was embezzling money. It felt surreal saying it in Janet's cramped office, watching her eyebrows shoot up toward her graying hairline. Small things didn't add up, and as someone who'd studied forensic accounting, these discrepancies felt like alarm bells. Client invoices appearing twice in the system, always for amounts just under approval thresholds. Expense reports for conferences that didn't exist when I Googled them. Payments to vendors I'd never heard of, with addresses leading to empty lots or mailbox stores. Everyone said I was being paranoid. "He's been here 15 years, they'd say, voices taking on that patronizing tone reserved for fresh graduates. "You've been here 15 minutes. The dismissal stung because it contained truth. I had only been there 6 weeks, still learning where they kept the good coffee and which copier actually worked. I started thinking maybe they were right. Maybe I was inexperienced and seeing patterns that weren't there, like people who claim to see faces in toast. During sleepless nights, I'd wonder if this was imposter syndrome manifesting in the worst possible way, but I couldn't shake it. The numbers told a story, and I'd always been good at reading between the lines of financial statements. So I started documenting everything. Screenshots of duplicate entries before they got corrected the following day. Copies of suspicious transactions printed at home because I didn't trust office equipment. I stayed late, pretending to work while watching who accessed financial systems after hours. My coworkers thought I was obsessed. My manager told me to focus on my own work. "You're here to learn basic bookkeeping, not play detective," Janet said, her tone sharp. Mr. Harrison is a respected member of this firm and the local business community, but something was definitely wrong. The feeling sat in my stomach like a stone, growing heavier with each irregular transaction. Then I noticed Robert Harrison always volunteered to handle client trust account reconciliations himself. These high-value accounts typically required two-person verification, but he'd convinced everyone his experience made the second signature redundant. "Streamlining processes," he called it during meetings, flashing that politician's smile that never reached his eyes. That's when I knew someone who'd built a 15-year reputation doesn't personally handle routine reconciliations unless there's something to hide. I spent my weekend building a comprehensive spreadsheet tracking every suspicious transaction over the past year, cross-referencing vendor databases, conference schedules, and client payment histories. My apartment became investigation headquarters, with printouts covering my kitchen table and sticky notes mapping connections on my wall. The pattern was clear once laid bare. He'd been skimming about $3,000 monthly by creating fake vendor payments for office supplies and consulting services, then routing them to accounts linked to his personal information. The amounts were small enough to avoid automatic reviews, but consistent enough to add up significantly. I took my evidence to the FBI Financial Crimes Unit on a gray Monday morning, hands shaking as I handed over 3 binders to Agent Patricia Coleman. Her office smelled like stale coffee and determination. Turns out he'd stolen over $200,000 across 3 years, and they'd been investigating him for months, but needed someone inside with access to confirm their suspicions. My amateur detective work provided the missing pieces for an airtight case. He got arrested at his desk on Tuesday morning while I microwaved leftover pizza in the break room. Through the glass partition, I watched 2 agents in dark suits escort him past reception where his awards and community service photos hung like monuments to a carefully constructed lie. Everyone who called me paranoid suddenly got very quiet. The office felt different afterward, like the air had been cleared of something toxic none of us had fully realized we were breathing. I wasn't crazy. I was just the only one doing math.